Jesus Christ, how did that guy land this shot? Is he hacking? Or maybe it's just a Smurf? God, I can't even tell the difference anymore. Hey, what's up guys, Elo Hell here, and today we are going to talk about Smurf accounts and whether or not having a Smurf makes you a bad person. When it comes to Smurf accounts, most people probably have quite a negative stigma attached to them, and that for good reason. It destroys everything the matchmaking system works towards in trying to get us even and well-balanced matches by essentially resetting their score with a new account to compete with players far below their original skill rating. The intent seems obvious, people are dicks and they enjoy stomping players who are way worse than them. More than just feeling good about finally performing well, they feel even better ruining other people's fun. But some of you probably have differing opinions, especially those of you who consume Overwatch content on a regular basis. Others might wonder, are there really valid reasons for having a Smurf account? Well, what about we quickly talk about a few of the reasons people have Smurf accounts when not making them with malicious intent. First off, and that might even be true for some of you guys watching right now, to play with their real-life friends. There's always this funny separation between online gaming and real-life friends, the stereotype being that the latter are bad at video games, but they still want to play with you. Trying to explain that you want to push for rating and hence can't queue with them because it would drag down your SR just makes you sound like a douche. So probably a fair number of people has one account where they play with friends who are below their skill rating, and then another one where they try to push for rating. Another reason will sound familiar to the streaming enthusiasts, a Smurf account for sub and follower games. As most of you probably know, Masters and Grandmasters can only queue with players within 500 SR of their own rating, which can make subscriber games a bit of a hassle. Obviously, not everyone is that high up in the ranks, so people simply get themselves another Smurf that is dedicated to only playing with their viewers. And for the last example, I would like to share my own reasoning, as yesterday was the first time I played on a Smurf for another reason than playing with friends who are outside of my SR vicinity. Actually, there are two reasons: practicing heroes that I don't usually play for one thing, and simply having fun for another. I gotta make a bit of a confession here, it does not come as too much of a surprise I reckon, as I have already made clear that I absolutely despise our current meta and even made a video dedicated to me having lost my driving force for wanting to rank up. However, and Ray hates me for this, since the last little while I only played rank once or twice a week when I needed gameplay for the channel and to avoid skill decay. I was just so many layers of done with it. Allow me to go a little off topic just for a bit. The reason I just stopped wanting to play Overwatch comes down to my main character Anna being degraded from a hero that I previously felt like required a lot of skill with a very versatile kit to a hold left click behind your fat ass tanks to keep them popped off no-brainer. It's gotten to the point where playing Anna was so incredibly boring to me that I had more fun playing any other support, which wasn't a problem because around Masters everyone wants to play her anyway. I mean, for Christ's sake, so few people play Zenyatta for example that every time I have a gaming session I get into the top 1000 Zenyatta EU on Overbuff, which I wish was some sort of great feat, but for one thing it's impossible to hold that if you only play once a week, and for another thing I'm aware of the lack of Zenyatas in our current meta, with most teams running triple tank, Lucio and Anna. The worst part is that while I'm really confident on the other supports as well, I have this false perception that whenever I don't play Anna, we lose. But no matter what I play, since I only either duo or solo queue, I feel like I'm at the mercy of RNGs granting me a team that isn't only not toxic, but also doesn't make basic mistakes like getting staggered or splitting unnecessarily. I'm the type of player who doesn't mind losing as long as he has good games. I absolutely hate losing to bullshit though. And if master ranked players don't grasp onto the most basic concepts, it just really infuriates me because I feel like players around this rank should just know better. However, it comes to show that there are people whose mechanical skill carries them to the high rank, which is something that I lack in particular, but compensate for by just being willing to learn, adapt and practice basic strategies and follow simple concepts. So all these things together, getting burned out on this meta, not enjoying my main heroes anymore, but still being forced to play them because I can't play any other role at Masters level, and simply getting tired of the RNG fest that is solo queue, these things just made me stop enjoying Overwatch as much as I enjoyed it before. And now back to our subject, because the original idea was for me to practice other heroes to play my way up from a low rank back to Masters, and by that, slowly over time learn to play other heroes at Masters level than just supports. And let me tell you, for the first time in a while, I had a great time playing Overwatch. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a 70% accuracy McCree main who enjoys shitting on gold ranks. Again, I'm a support main. But I learned that I can still play flex very sufficiently in Platinum, and just being able to play other heroes in a competitive environment without being immediately outplayed or having to worry about my rank was great fun. I played with a friend of mine and it just reminded me why I started playing Overwatch. I finally managed to have some good laughs playing again. But I know it's not just all fun and games, especially if you're on the receiving end of a Smurf account, so let's talk about some of the possible drawbacks. An argument could be made for me playing support in Platinum. Granted, me playing Anna and healing my team isn't gonna carry a game, as it's not gonna make my team magically improve their aim or anything, but it could be argued that a Platinum Platinum level Pharah, for example, would be hard countered by a Masters level Ana on a Smurf account when they originally wouldn't be. And that is probably true to a certain extent. Nobody can tell how the game would have turned out to be if instead of me, someone else who's less skilled had to face off against her. However, it does teach the player to learn to master their movement abilities in order to avoid hit scan heroes. Which honestly is kind of a poor excuse. Ultimately, they would have either learned that anyway on their way up on the ranks, or they just never gotten into a higher division since their current skill is not good enough to perform anywhere else anyway. So there really isn't any excuse for me playing Zenyatta or Ana to shit on people who are obviously way worse than me. This is obviously where people's frustration comes from when it comes to dealing with Smurf accounts. So the only thing I can really do is stay true to my goal and actually practice heroes I don't usually play. Me playing McCree or Soldier isn't gonna hard counter a Pharah in the first couple of days of me practicing, and people would be hard pressed to even tell that I belong to a higher rank than Platinum if they saw me play my off picks anyway. It almost feels like a new safe game, or more so a new game plus, where I take my knowledge as a Masters level support player but start from scratch on a mechanical level with new heroes. Another argument could be that the friends I play with ultimately end up in ranks that are too high for them because I carry. I said I in this sentence, but I actually mean anyone who uses a Smurf account. Well, that's assuming that players don't have the capability to improve. Saying that players who are in a current rank are supposed to stay there is simply false. In fact, the exact point of a competitive ladder system is to improve and progress. So if someone helped their friends to get a higher rank, these people would either very quickly learn how to handle the game on that level of play, or they just lose their rank even quicker. And as for the frustration of playing against Masters or GM level Smurfs, yes, it's frustrating to end up in games like that, but those players will very quickly rise their MMR into the skies and beyond. I have seen streamers who started leveling their Smurf with Masters level experience and within the first few levels were paired up with players of level 100 and above, simply because their gameplay was so good that their hidden MMR tried to match them up with players of higher skill. So really, it shouldn't be something that occurs too often. Same thing goes for ranked. I have often said that carrying is not possible in Overwatch unless there's a massive skill disparity. Most perceived carries were simply well supported by their team or took advantage of the enemy team's misplays. Assuming a Smurf starts off on bronze rank, they would go on to Stomp players until they reach roughly where they belong to, or let's say they were low Masters on their main, they'd probably have no trouble carrying themselves into mid-platinum to diamond, which is where the skill disparity is low enough for their particular gameplay to not make that big of an impact anymore, with people that have less misplays that can be taken advantage of. At the end of the day, yes, being paired up with a Smurf is a frustrating thing if they are still nowhere near the rank or level they have to be. However, not all Smurfs are created with malicious intent, and if they really are so good that your entire team could do nothing about them, then odds are that their rating will rise so quickly that you'll never see them again. It is actually worth noting that I technically don't own a Smurf, but rather play on a friend's off account. However, I will be getting my own eventually, which will probably be the start of a series of streams where I bring back the Twitch follower games to level that account to 25 and maybe even do some placements with some of you guys. So if you're interested in that, don't forget to drop a follow on Twitch, link can be found in the description below. But this is me done for the day, so thank you everybody so much for watching. Do let me know whether or not you guys also have Smurf or just old accounts, and what do you use them for. Do also feel free to drop me a like on your way out if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want to see more, and I hope to see you guys next time.
Alter.
Der Hook, Digga! Der Hook! Was?
Ich hab's gesehen. Bist du on the map, Mann.
Das Spiel will mich verarschen. Welcher?
Bad German word.
Jetzt so eine Scheiße und denkst dich, ja, Triple A Game, machen wir.